Division, the Corps of Royal Electrical and Mechanical Engineers. The Director of Music is Captain Matt Simmons, who joined the Army in 1999. He's supported also by a wealth of experience, Bandmaster Staff Sergeant Chris Brown, who has served for 32 years, and Warrant Officer Class 2, Alistair Smith, who served for 29 years. So just with them three, we've got 80 years experience of military music on parade, and what a fine job they're going to do.
So you can almost imagine what's going through the Commandant's mind there as he was on parade himself 37 years ago, and being his last day in uniform, he's absolutely relishing the opportunity. He did a Commandant's parade on Wednesday where he addressed the whole college as a pre-rehearsal prior to this parade to make sure we were in good order. And he did mention that it was his last day in parade. Also, College Regimental Sergeant Major Hutchins was his last parade, but also a few other key members of the Academy, in particular the Staff Quartermaster Richard Braden, who will be finishing his time here and going on to his civilian environment, as well as W1 Key, who has been instrumental in the supporting role in the dismounted close combat wing. They're also joined with the intake that will now leave, so you'll have a fresh set of instructors join in September. So another intake will leave this particular academy ready for the new fresh set of instructors. Okay, in this stage they're going to march past the colours, and you'll see them give an eyes right or salute in order to respect the colours that are on parade before they continue with the second half of the inspection.
नाज़रीन, रॉयल मिलिट्री एकेडमी सैंड हरसट।
जी नाज़रीन, लंदन में आर्मी चीफ जनरल जावेद बाजवा रॉयल मिलिट्री परेड की तकरीब में शिरकत कई है। लाइव मंजर अवां खे ॾेखारियूं पिया। आर्मी चीफ जनरल जावेद बाजवा रॉयल मिलिट्री परेड की तकरीब में शिरकत कई है।
The academy to become officers, so they've served on operations prior to attending this course. So those are some of the medals. Other medals, the Jubilee medals, that are also worn if they have served for over 5 years prior to the 8th of February 2022. The international cadets will receive a Sanders Trust Medal, and that could be proudly worn and shown today, and that is awarded by the Commandant and the Director of the Sanders Trust. So we've heard about the inspection party, we've heard a little bit about the officer cadets that are on parade and the inspection as it is, and we've heard about the band. And
हरसट برطانيه।
जी नाज़रीन, बरतानिया में आर्मी चीफ जनरल जावेद बाजवा रॉयल मिलिट्री परेड की तकरीब में शिरकत कई है। आर्मी चीफ जनरल जावेद बाजवा के सलामी ॾिनी पई वञे। आर्मी चीफ जनरल जावेद बाजवा पाकिस्तान जो पहिरियों फ़ौजी सरबराह है जंहिं परेड में शिरकत कई है। आर्मी चीफ जनरल जावेद बाजवा परेड जो मायनो कढियो आहे।
Dance parade. In General Cap's speech, he reminded those commissioning where they've come from, but also what they have to come, stating that leaders earn their loyalty and respect based on how much they give and how they serve their people. Reminding them of the Chief of General Staff's words to them last week when he said, "Your soldiers will not care how much you know until they know how much you care." These words will stay with the officer cadets as they commission and move on through their careers.
And the inspection party now moving through towards the Sovereign's platoon, and this you'll see the senior under officer and the Academy Sergeant Major will ask for leave to carry on. The senior under officer will go forward in front of the parade and stand the parade easy, whilst the Academy Sergeant Major will fall at the rear of the Sovereign's platoon. And you might catch it on the screen, but he has his pay stick removed, and this is the first time, and on the troop and the colour, if a regimental sergeant major is going to go forward and collect the colour, where they draw their swords on parade.
So now the inspecting party is escorted back to the dais, and just behind the commandant you can see the Military Assistant Commandant of Royal Military Academy Sandhurst, Captain Sam Richardson, who will also be leaving the academy today.
And that's now the senior and officer now taking its position back on parade.
इस वक्त रॉयल मिलिट्री एकेडमी सैंड।
जी नाज़रीन, बरतानिया में यह तकरीब जारी है। आर्मी चीफ जनरल जावेद बाजवा रॉयल मिलिट्री परेड की तकरीब में शिरकत कई है। आर्मी चीफ जनरल जावेद बाजवा की सलामी ॾिनी वई है। आर्मी चीफ जनरल जावेद बाजवा पाकिस्तान जो पहिरियों फौजी सरबराह है जी परेड में शिरकत कई है। आर्मी चीफ
What we're going to see now is the Sovereign's platoon come forward, left form, and then march to meet the Sovereign's banner and take over control of it. The Sovereign's platoon, which wear multicoloured lanyards using colours from all three divisions, is selected on merit as the best platoon amongst the intake. These officer cadets have been in a competition throughout their 42 weeks training. The competition comprises of drill, orienteering, shooting, cross-country, a load of academic tests, and the final event is the march and shoot. This is one proud platoon to ultimately have the honour of trooping the colour or the banner today.
And now you can see the Academy Sergeant Major making his way from the rear of the Sovereign's platoon. As he walks onto the front, he'll pick up the ensign who will be carrying the Sovereign's platoon. And the Academy Sergeant Major will take over the Sovereign banner and hand it over to the ensign.
The ensign today is Officer Cadet Pittman of the Sovereign's platoon. Officer Cadet Luke Pittman is from Cirencester, Gloucestershire, and was educated at Eton College and studied engineering at Oxford University. Officer Cadet Pittman enjoys playing tennis, football and golf in his spare time, and he looks forward to commissioning into the Household Cavalry Regiment.
The Sovereign's platoon! Present! Out! The Sovereign's platoon! Slow! Out! The Sovereign's platoon! Will advance! By the right! Slow! March!
And it is particular to note that the colours and banners are extremely important to any regiment, normally presented by Her Majesty the Queen, and they contain insignia of the battle honours of the unit that they have fought in. They're normally held secure in an officer's mess and will be escorted when moved from place to place. On the battlefield, however, they signify a rallying point for soldiers to return to in chaos of battle, and then we'll later see a demonstration of when the colour is then trooped in front of the senior division so that they can recognise the colour that they've just been trooping.
There, just going through shot, is the proud platoon colour sergeant of the Sovereign's platoon. That is Colour Sergeant Ray, and he's from the Coldstream Guards. He was posted to the Academy in 2020 after his last role as the Recce second in command of the 1st Battalion Coldstream Guards. This is his second opportunity to commission a regular course, one of them being the Sovereign's platoon here today. He's immensely proud of all 14 platoons' achievements and being part of the Sovereign's platoon commissioning course 213. Colour Sergeant Ray finishes at Royal Military Academy standards this term and returns to the 1st Battalion Coldstream Guards in August. Colour Sergeant Ray is married to Elizabeth, and they are both expecting their first boy in November.
And that's the senior division with swords and the intermediate and junior division with rifles now presenting arms as the banner is now trooped through the ranks. The Sovereign's platoon now making their way back to their original position on the far left of the parade, and they're joined by some company to their right hand side. Between the centre, so either side of the colours that you just seen just then, is Gaza Company, and to the right hand side is Eaps Company. What we can expect now is we can expect the Sovereign's platoon to halt and then face towards the front, and then you'll see the Academy Adjutant moving forward to give the words of command, ready for the parade to march round in slow and in quick time.
Standards will march past in slow and quick time. Divisions into columns, right wheel, by the right, slow, march.
The parade step off in slow time now, a huge relief for every single officer cadet and member of staff on parade as they finally move after being stood still for probably about 30 minutes at this stage.
And a beautiful view of Old College, the iconic building of the Royal Military Academy. The Royal Military Academy was established in Woolwich in 1741 to train officers for the artillery MyCap badge and the engineers. A similar institution was founded for the cavalry and infantry officers in 1802 in High Wycombe. The first commissioning parade at the new Royal Military Academy Sandhurst was held on the 14th of July 1948 in the presence of His Majesty King George VI, who decreed henceforth that the parade was to be known as the Sovereign's Parade.
See the parade moving their way to the far left-hand side of the parade ground now, and this is so that all the senior term will get in front of the intermediate term, followed by the junior term, and will march past the dais. So the inspecting officer will be stood on the dais, just to the left-hand side out of the screen, and all the troops in their half companies will march past and respect and pay compliments to the inspecting officer. Imagine leading the parade and giving the first compliments to the inspecting officer. Just inside there, the chargers are looked after by experienced ceremonial members of the Household Cavalry, Corporal Horse Bishop and Santanine. And chatting to them earlier this week, the Academy Adjutant's Charger Falkland, he's 22 years old and he started his career as a lifeguard in the Queen's Guard. Noticed for his kind nature and strong presence, he was promoted straight to an officer charger and then as the commanding officer's charger. He's extremely experienced, as you can see. He's on parade, but he is approaching his retirement and he'll be looked after daily by Colonel Crispin Lockhart, his previously commander officer. Cadets are now making their way in slow time past the dais. We just touched on the chargers just then, and the two chargers here today. She started learning to ride at the age of 3, and Burmese, which is depicted in the statue that she is riding, is the beautiful black mare that was given to her in 1969 as a gift from the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. And they were in the UK at the time, attended the Royal Windsor show that year. But Burmese was the starring role, as you probably would have seen in The Troop and the Colour, for almost 18 years. Rode by Her Majesty between 1969 and 1986. Burmese retired and was put out to pasture in 1987. Later, unfortunately, passed away in 1990. But incidentally enough, Her Majesty did not replace Burmese, her favourite statue, with another charger. Instead, she chose to ride in the carriage during the remains Troop of the Colours from 1987. And the officer cadets, as they pass the dais now, you will see they will get in open order. So that means you'll have a bit of a distance between the front rank and the rear rank in order to pay the correct compliments, as you would do an inspection. And then once they pass the rank, you'll see them get into close order. So the ranks will close by. There you can see Company Sir Major McAvoy, the Welsh Guards, leading his company around Chaos Corner, where the divisions are from single line and they move into column. So basically the right half, as you're looking at the parade, half company will end up behind the right half, the left half. Spectacular view of Old College there. As you can see at the apex, just below the flag, above the steps on the facade, is the relief of Mars and Minerva, the ancient gods of war and wisdom, something that all the cadets will see as they arrive on the first day of the academy, as they walk up those steps, and now as they march up the steps, commissioning to complete their full year's training and commission to the British Army. It reminds them that they must combine the virtues of both war and wisdom. College Adjutant Chris Pollard, Major Chris Pollard, riding Boris now towards the rear, controlling that all of the officer cadets are making sure that they're all correctly spaced and controlling from the rear. You can see the concentration on not just the staff but the officer cadets now as they march around the square, concentrate on not just keeping in step, but making sure their arms are tightly close to their body, their heads are looking up, their shoulders are back, all the arms are dressed the same as the person next to them, and they're just showing off and really, really, really enjoying the parade. What you'll see now is we're coming to the end of the slow time part. We're waiting for a signal from the parade and the adjutant will break him into quick time. senior term, the words of command are given by the officer cadets that were selected as junior under officers or senior under officer. But for the intermediate turn and the junior turn, because they're still in previous stages of training, they will have their words of command given by the members of staff. Once all the officer cadets have gone past in both slow and quick time, which they are doing now, they will now form back onto their original lines you see prior to the march past, so their inspection lines. So senior term will be at the front again, followed by intermediate and then the junior term. Old College Regiment Ensemble Major James Timberley put up the rear there, followed by the new College Adjutant Chris Pollard. As the officer cadets completed their final stages in quick time, you'll see that they will perform a movement called left form at the halt. So this is where they left form at a given point and then they will halt facing the remainder of the stands.
The final soldier marching on the parade is the Old College Regiment Sergeant Major. He is W01 Jim Tipperley of the 1 Mercian, and he's the first Mercian to be selected into that post. Recently he returned from Okkabrit, Estonia. He's married to Claire, who will be watching at home with their son Brody.
Everyone, dress!
That's the Academy Adjutant now getting all the parade into a dressing ready for the advance in review order. And this is where the whole parade will come forward 14 paces and halt in front of the Soviet representative.
Center, load, arms! Center will advance in review order. By the center, quick march! Center, shoulder, arm! Center, standard, east!
And the stage of the parade we hand over to the Soviet representative who will address the parade.
इस वक्त के लाइव हम नाज़िर आप मुलाहिज़ा करें।
जी नाज़रीन, बरतानिया में आर्मी चीफ जनरल जावेद बाजवा रॉयल मिलिट्री परेड की तकरीब में शिरकत किया है।
Royal Military Academy, General Officers, Excellencies, distinguished guests, faculty members, ladies and gentlemen, and my dear officer cadets, Assalamu alaikum and good morning. It is indeed a unique honor and great privilege for me to represent Her Majesty, the Queen, at Sovereign's Parade at Sandhurst. First and foremost, let me congratulate all graduating cadets and their families on the successful completion of training at the Academy. Sandhurst for over 200 years has groomed young boys and girls from the United Kingdom, Commonwealth countries, royalties from across the globe. Your alma mater is without a doubt one of the finest military institutions in the world, which has produced some of the great military leaders that this world has seen. Graduating from Sandhurst is of course a matter of great honor and pride. Today I see that pride on your beaming faces, just as I see it reflected on the faces of your loved ones sitting across the square. You all deserve this moment of fulfillment. You for the remarkable hard work and dedication, and your families for all the patience and support that was lent to you by them. Two Pakistani cadets would also be graduating with you today. Let me say that I am as proud of you all as I am proud of them. Ladies and gentlemen, my presence here today bears testimony to the deep-rooted relationship that exists between Pakistan and the United Kingdom, based on mutual respect and shared values, which have been carefully nurtured by both nations over many decades. Our good Pakistani diaspora in the United Kingdom displays the strength of our historic relationship. I am sure that this relationship will scale greater heights in time to come. Similarly, the bondage between the two armed forces is uniquely special as well, forged on the battlefield of great wars and kept alive over the years through extensive regimental affiliations and close professional contact in training and myriad of other military activities. My dear officers and cadets, This day marks the beginning of your formal military service, which is the most distinguished and the noblest of profession. As we celebrate your success today, let me remind you of your responsibilities and the great expectations associated with you by this alma mater and your respective nations. The journey that awaits you is challenging as well as exciting. The demand of professional military service will be much higher as you grow in service. You need to equip yourself with lofty attributes of leadership, with clear sense of purpose, to gain respect and trust of your subordinates. It is only through development of unwavering trust and confidence that you can instill a spirit core in your under command, which will hold you together in times of crisis. Remember that no one is born with professional knowledge. It has to be acquired through constant pursuit. Without it, you cannot achieve professional competence, which is in turn is the hallmark of successful military leadership. As a leader, you need to have courage and ability to take difficult decisions and then accept full responsibility. Correct decision making requires competence and confidence, which can only be acquired through high-class military education, rigorous training, and continuously studying of military history. In the word of Sir Little Heart, and I quote, an officer who has not studied military history as a science is of little use beyond the rank of a captain. You must also understand that persona of a just and impartial commander who exhibits merit in dispensation of reward and punishment is the one who will earn unconditional loyalty and obedience of your under command. My dear officers and cadets, as direct consequences of the onset of fourth industrial revolution, dual use technologies and niche capabilities led by artificial intelligence are fundamentally altering the character of future war. The battlefield of tomorrow would be characterized by extreme precision, lethality, and transparency, which would be particularly challenging for military leaders, especially young officers in the battle, both mentally and physically. The future is inevitable, and each one of you will have to adapt to new realities in the technological domain to ensure successful outcome in the battle. While it is important to understand this change in character of war, let me tell you about some realities in battlefield that are immune to the ebb and flow of technological advancement and would never change. Let me enumerate few. The value of keeping up a brave face in front of your troops when you are as shattered and frightened inside as all of them. The contagious energy that you would instill in your troops when you would lead them by example and not made by words. Remember, when a lot of lead is flying in the air in the battlefield, an officer never says advance, rather always says, follow me. The importance of keeping the well-being of your troops ahead of your own is the hallmark of a successful military leader. The essence of the last point cannot be better articulated than what was said by Field Marshal Philip Walhouse Chetwood, who said, and I quote, the safety, honor, and welfare of your country comes first, always, and every time. The honor, welfare, and comfort of the men you command come next. Your own ease, comfort, and safety come last, always and every time. End quote. These eternal words are boldly etched even today on the walls of Brigadier Francis Singhal Memorial Hall in Pakistan Military Academy to remind every cadet of the importance of these essential tenets of military leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, the primary reason for armed forces to exist today should not be to prosecute war, but to ensure that they do not take place. Mankind's destiny more than ever before hinges on our collective capacity to come together and take the route of peace and cooperation instead of conflict, communication instead of clash, and multilateralism instead of self-preservation. In the interest of world peace, we must strive to preserve the vitality, relevance, an internal sense of impartiality in multilateral institutions, maintain consensus on the collective defense of global commons, and uphold the prestige of international law. In case we fail to do that, I'm afraid we may end up destroying the beautiful world that we have. In the end, my dear officers cadet, I wish and pray for your rewarding careers ahead. May you serve your country with honor, dignity, and pride. Taking this opportunity, I would like to applaud efforts of Commandant and his team for this impressive parade. And finally, before leaving the podium, I would like to pay rich tribute to Major General Duncan Caps, Commandant Royal Military Academy, who is retiring today. Be rest assured, General, that your 37 years of meritorious service will always be remembered and acknowledged. I wish you all the best and Godspeed for your future endeavors. I thank you all. Long live Pakistan-India friendship.
Army Chief General Jaavid. नाज़रीन इस
मिलिट्री परेड की तकरीब में शिरकत कई है। आर्मी चीफ जनरल जावेद बाजवा के इस्लामी ॾिनी वई। आर्मी चीफ जनरल जावेद बाजवा पाकिस्तान जो पहिरियों फौजी सरबराह है जे परेड में शिरकत कई है।
Officer Cadet Al Mahadi, 18 Platoon Eads Company from Qatar. Following commission, he will return to Qatar and serve as a military skill instructor. And he tells us that he's looking forward to taking the high standards of Sandhurst to his upcoming training role back home.
And of course, that's just one of the awards given today. Is an extreme honour to be recognised for any award during this time at the Academy, in particular the ones on parade today.
The Queen's Medal is awarded to the officer cadet who has achieved the best overall results in military, academic and practical studies. Today it is awarded to Officer Cadet Campbell Bareham, who is to be commissioned into the Intelligence Corps. The International Sword, presented by the State of Kuwait. The International Sword is awarded to the International Cadet considered by the Commandant to be the best of the intake. Today it is awarded to Officer Cadet Solms Lerbach from Germany.
Officer Cadet Konrad August Solms Lerbach is from Germany, and he's from 13 Platoon Somme Company. He joined Sandhurst after completing his first year of officer training in the German Armed Forces Academy.
The Sword of Honour. The Sword of Honour is awarded to the officer cadet considered by the Commandant to be the best of the intake. Today it is awarded to Senior Under Officer Wilson, who is to be commissioned into the Rifles.
Officer Cadet Alex Wilson of 12 Platoon Gaza Company said earlier this week that he's looking forward to the privilege and challenge granted in leading a platoon of confident, characterful and professional riflemen.
The Academy Adjutant will now finally address a final present arms before asking the Soviet rep to march the parade off the square.
General salute, present arms!
And that's the senior division now getting ready to march up those famous steps of Old College to complete the parade and indeed their commissioning. Just inside Old College grand entrance there, you've seen John Archibald, who's the hall porter. He will be directing all the events that happen inside once we see Falkland, the charger, on at the steps and into Old College grand entrance.
This parade marks the culmination of 44 weeks training on the commissioning course, which must be passed by all direct entry officers commissioning into the regular army. The course is split into 3 terms of 14 weeks, with a further 2 weeks of adventurous training. The course covers activities such as military theory, academic study, behavioural sciences, physical training and field exercises, where military skills and leadership are developed and tested under arduous conditions over multi-day periods on defense.
Royal Military Academy سينڈ هرسٹ
जी नाज़रीन, आर्मी चीफ जनरल कमर जावेद बाजवा परेड जो मुआयनो करे रहियो आहे। अमां खे आगाह कयूं पिया आर्मी चीफ जनरल कमर जावेद बाजवा रॉयल मिलिट्री परेड जी तकरीब में शिरकत कई आहे। आर्मी चीफ जनरल कमर जावेद बाजवा खे इस्लामी ॾिनी वई। अवां खे ॿुधाईंदा हलूं त आर्मी चीफ जनरल कमर जावेद बाजवा पाकिस्तान जो पहिरियों फौजी सरबराह आहे जंहिं परेड में शिरकत कई आहे। में शामिल आहिनि 213 कमिश्नर कोर्स जी पासिंग आउट परेड थी रही आहे। 41 गैर मुल्की कैडेट्स पास आउट थी रहिया आहिनि। पाकिस्तान मिलिट्री जा 2 कैडेट्स अब्दुल्ला ऐं मुस्तबा बि पास आउट थियण वारनि में शामिल आहिनि। आर्मी चीफ खिताब कंदे चयो त पास आउट थियण वारनि खे मुबारकबाद पेश कयां थो।